I'm the champion.
Right now, what you are doing is looking live at the Mega Powers of Podcasting, coming to you from the On the Money Sports Lounge and Casino Entertainment Center. Ladies and gentlemen, it is podcast night here on the Money Podcast. The Mega Powers coming to you live in living color for another edition of On the Money Podcast, bringing you the platform. Yes, you, the people, the beautiful people of the On the Money Sports Fan Forum, to jump on here, make it your show. So much to discuss. We are knee deep in draft season. It's baseball season. It's WrestleMania season. Whatever season you want it to be, whatever topic you want to discuss, we're here for it tonight, live and in living color. As always,
Look in my eyes, what do you see?
I am your reigning, defending, undisputed On the Money Sports champion, the first ever Elite 8 champion, the first and maybe only man to hold both titles at the same time. And you can make all the faces you want, but the fact of the matter is I am also your new Supreme Baller Society basketball champion as well. The chips keep coming in, and it's all because of you beautiful people. I absolutely love it. All we do is win, 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 no matter what. And alongside me, the greatest tag team partner of all time, the animal to my hawk, none other than the man himself, sporting the WrestleMania 6 tee from Toronto, Mr. Oscar O'Money Muniz.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are we doing this fine evening? For those of you tuning in, we thank you and we appreciate you. We got a lot to discuss tonight. We have a plethora amount of topics. Not only that, we need to remind you all, next week the mock draft drops. And we'll remind you again later on in the podcast so that you can remember next week I drop that first round mock, what I think's going to happen in 2 Thursdays from now.
Podcast dedicated strictly to the mock draft, a yearly tradition, the O Money mock draft special going down next week. So we do have a lot to discuss tonight because, quite frankly, we're probably not going to have time to cover it next week with everything that's going on with the draft, breaking it down, me doing my best imitation of Mean Gene Okerlund as this guy right here gives you the first round of the NFL draft this year, which we will be watching at B-Dubs, kicking back, relaxing, seeing for ourselves what decisions our team make that will sit with us as we let it marinate throughout the entirety of the summer. Maybe some of it makes sense. Maybe some of it doesn't. You know, who among those rookies not named Ashton Genty will rise up and, in the words of Vince McMahon, grab the proverbial brass ring, so to speak. So
that's a good one.
A lot to break down there when it comes to the mock, for sure.
What up, Julio?
What up?
That's a video game head. That's an old friend. We graduated together.
Thanks for tuning in.
Diehard New York Knicks fan.
Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Much appreciated tuning in here tonight.
Video game aficionado. One of the only people I know that ever had the 3DO, the Neo Geo 3DO.
Nice.
Home system, which was ridiculous because it was like $500. And that was back in like, what, 94, 95?
Yeah, people complain about the prices of games now.
Yeah, Andrew, I'm already tired of Andrew. That's why I kept showing, like, bro.
Back in the day, those prices weren't.
My parents were paying $70, $80 for a Super Nintendo
Super Nintendo games were $80, bro, when they were first coming out.
And then when my parents realized Genesis was cheaper, my parents bought a Genesis.
Vince was at the Garden the other night at the Knicks game.
Yeah, he was.
He's been at a lot of. He was at the Celtics game.
He's getting his face shown in public because his 1-year non-compete clause is about to end, and rumors have it that he's trying to work with Fox and creating a new wrestling promotion.
That's right, Javier. Thank you. Acknowledging the champion. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you, sir. Thank you very, very much.
My gimmick, damn it.
Thank you very, very much, sir. Shout out to the Sick Picks League, which you are a part of. As well, but I sold it.
I remember that was the original system, had Super Street Fighter 2. Turbo, I think it was.
Nice.
Yeah, because none of the other systems had it. And not even PlayStation or Dreamcast had it. The 3DO had it.
Yeah. That's right. You got to see if there's any images or anything that we can post onto the Nostalgic Multiverse page for that system.
I remember when I seen it advertised how much one of those was. It was crazy because none of them were around here. Like, you had to order it from somewhere.
Yeah. It's not something that you would just find at your everyday video game
not
store.
At all.
It's not how it worked. You couldn't just go into GameStop and grab one of those bad boys.
Yeah, but when my parents realized Genesis was cheaper and the games were like $50, my parents bought me a Genesis with Sonic 2, and that was that. I was getting Sega games.
Never actually owned the Sega. Always played it at my cousin's house. I didn't actually own it, but I was a big fan of the X-Men games, which I now have the X-Men games on my emulator, which is pretty dope. I die fast sometimes, but I still enjoy
Blitz, the league's stupid EA. I don't know, man. Big Blitz is just like an arcade thing.
Blitz was fun.
My favorite Madden was Madden 97. Oh, the graphics are terrible when you go back and look at it now. I thought it was the shit. But
at the time, that's what we had.
Madden 97 was my shit.
But let's not forget that we had so many options. Let's not forget about the Brett Favre Quarterback Club, a game that was very underrated.
Was that for PlayStation?
That was for Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
There was two. There was the Quarterback Club 98 and Quarterback Club 99.
I got a RetroPie.
Those images and those graphics were some of the graphics that would later on end up being used with 2K, with Madden itself. Like, it was a little chalky. It was tough sometimes, the gameplay, but it was also ahead of its time. Remember when you'd randomize the weather and then you see that you got a snow game, how much of a big deal that was? The coin toss. At one point, the Madden games.
Remember, there was that. There was NFL Game Day.
Yeah, NFL Game Day was a good one.
Then NFL 2K came out.
The emulator I have is legit. My brother definitely hooked it up.
I got the RetroPie. I got everything except the N64 crap. Still,
Braves' worst season ever, but they could still beat the Phillies. Phillies losing again.
Let's stop.
The Fighting Phils losing again. Back-to-back nights. I got baseball pulled up right here, but since we went live, I
division opponent. Come on.
I mean, yeah,
it's nothing right now in the top of the fourth.
You got to beat them. They got the worst record in baseball. You got to beat those guys.
Bro, it's early.
I know.
Y'all really think the Braves are going to suck all year?
Phillies fans,
they better not. I picked the Phillies to beat them so I could win that $20,000.
Wait, what are you talking about?
And the same thing with my future bets. But I also need Boston to beat Baltimore, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Well, Baltimore stinks.
2K was the best NFL game, but Madden bought the license because EA has hella. Yeah, that's what happened.
Bought it all. Did it pull the Vince McMahon before Vince McMahon did it?
Yeah, they monopolized it.
Yeah, they did it after. They did it after Vince because we're talking in 2001. There were still other options besides Madden.
Madden was 2004, I think.
Yeah,
was the last time or 5?
Crazy power move, bro. Because there was some great football games out there, not named.
There was
NFL Madden,
and ever since Madden took over that license, they've slowly sucked.
There was nowhere to go. There was nowhere to go, bro.
I think this year's wasn't that. This past season's wasn't that bad, but there's been a lot of clunkers for like the last 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else that you can.
Phillies will choke again. My prediction. You know what? And I just said the Braves have time. You know what? Screw the Braves. I hope they stay in last place all year. You like apples?
I'm a little worried about my National League side picks, man. You know, Ellie De La Cruz
also brought out Midway. Yeah,
Ellie De La Cruz for MVP isn't looking so hot all of a sudden because the Reds still stink. Braves stink. You know, they could use you guys as a get right division series to get the wheels turning for them, but as of right now, like that side of the board for me is, I might need a reprieve, but I'm gonna ride it out. I'm gonna see what they can do. Strider should be coming back into the fold, so that's gonna be a big help.
No competition for Madden meant they could phone it in. Haven't been good since they dropped the Madden cards.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like after the Madden hit stick, there was nowhere else for them to go. We're talking about 05, 06. 06, they had the QB Vision, which was risque. You know what I mean? Like that was a hit or miss for a lot. But
I hated it.
It was, yeah. I wasn't a big fan of it. I would definitely turn it off I remember going like in head-to-heads. We're playing Matt, playing Mikey. I'd be like, turn that shit off, man. Let's just rock this shit out. Like, but hit stick was probably the best thing that they ever did. I remember the rewind era, which freaking sucked, where you would do a touchdown and then your
More like
opponent could
EA
rewind
Sports.
it.
It's the only game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember EA had
EA is
Triple
the only
Play
option.
Baseball. They don't make baseball games no more.
Triple Play.
They had
2000
NBA Live.
With Sammy Sosa was I had that game.
I had the A-Rod one. That's how long ago.
Luka over there crying crocodile tears in Dallas for his return. Oh, the great return of Luka Doncic to Dallas. The place that unceremoniously traded him away in exchange for Anthony Davis. The prodigal son has returned home, and there was a beautiful tribute video, and he shed some tears, and it was an emotional moment that I don't give a shit about, because the fact of the matter is I haven't watched a single minute of the NBA ever since opening day. So we're talking about 2.5 weeks. I don't care. I didn't need to watch the NBA in order to win a fantasy basketball championship. Another great head coach was just unceremoniously ousted from a team that just won the NBA Finals like 2 years ago in the Denver Nuggets. A coach in Mark Malone, who I guess is not connecting with who knows? It's the NBA. So we talk about all the time the job security of these NFL coaches and all this stuff. NBA coaches have the worst. There's no job security. They got the worst
luck, bro.
If you can be an NBA coach in the same spot for 4 years, that's solid, bro. If you can have 4 years in the same spot without the players on the team actually trying to get you fired, you are basically one of the longest tenured head coaches within the league. A long time ago, people told me players don't run the league. Look at where the league is at now. Who runs the league? Look at where we're at now.
The players.
You tell me who runs the league.
Players have been running the league for the last 15 years.
Look at the state of the NBA, bro. I have never cared less, and my favorite team is the number 2 seed in the West. I'm going to watch them, but right now, I legit have not watched. It's been about 3 weeks. I could care less about NBA regular season. I care about as much as the NBA players do about the regular season. Let's put it like that. Celtics back-to-back. Lock it in.
Did Pat McAfee borrow the Titantron setup for this big night out?
I don't know. What is this? What are we watching right now?
He's doing a special pod or whatever.
Mock draft version or something? Or
he's not going to the draft this year. He said they were very disrespectful to him at the combine.
Oh,
so he's going to stay in his studio in 2 weeks.
Okay. All right.
But they're at the PPG Arena.
He'll get a good amount of views.
It's like a special type podcast.
So he's going to be going
Pittsburgh heads, because remember, he's from Pittsburgh.
He's gonna be doing like a live reaction to the draft, basically.
Yeah,
live reaction show. Okay. You haven't missed much, bro. NBA hasn't been the same in years. You win a title today and get fired the next in the NBA as a coach is crazy. He didn't even have a losing season. We're talking about like a 3 or 4 seed on the West, who is a week away from.
What if they go in there and win it all?
They're gonna be like, "Oh,
are you gonna tell me it was the interim coach that did it? Get the hell out of here!"
We made the right move. That would be the word. Like that would just be doubling down on the decision to get rid of Malone.
NBA coaches are literally hired to get fired.
That's it, bro. That is it. It's just.
That's so funny.
There's no
how he puts at the bottom of his warning. P.S. Don't sue us.
There's no incentive to want to be an NBA coach, bro. Look at Budenholzer. He got fired. Like Budenholzer's a good coach out there in Phoenix. They're a total mess. They traded away all their draft picks. They have no first-round pick until 2031.
My man from Boston got fired for sleeping with the execs.
Yeah, and now he's coaching the number 2 seed in the West right now. As far as his job security for now is looking good, but talk to me in 2 years because you don't really know in this league. A player has an issue with the way that you're coaching and your methods and this era of sensitivity that we live in. And all of a sudden it's like if you got enough pull, you can get a head coach fired. Like how are you supposed to manage a team?
Eric Spoelstra does have tenure because Pat Riley doesn't conform to what fans want.
He's the only
Pat Riley knows tenure. He's like, you know what? He's good.
And then Doc Rivers is always going to get himself a job, but he's been around,
He deserved it. You don't cheat on me alone. I heard in Hollywood, I read the dirt sheets that people hate working with her.
Nia Long.
Yeah, they hate working with her because she got this
like
ego. Yeah, she got the Hulk Hogan, the Rock, that type of.
That's crazy. She did what?
Like all you were was Will Smith's girl, bro.
And Fresh Prince. I was about to say all you were was Craig's girl on Friday.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? Big Mama's house. What was your big? Like just being a very beautiful woman, basically. That's really it. Like,
Doc Rivers is a perennial fall guy. No, Doc Rivers
he knows it.
He's the one who puts himself in these positions.
He knows he's the fall guy when he gets
He's the
hired.
one that knows that he can't win game 7s.
He knows before he gets hired that he's going to get hired to be fired. Like, he accepts that. It's part of the negotiation. It's in the contract.
Like he knew when he took over. It was last year he took over the Bucks, right?
It's been like 2 years already that he's over there.
He ain't going nowhere.
Bucks ain't
but
making
Giannis
it to the
is.
finals. Bucks aren't making it.
I think Giannis is going to be a Knick next year.
Giannis to the Knicks, huh? Then they'll maybe finally do something. Because I don't think the Knicks are going to do anything this year. I'm sorry, but let's be real here. Knicks aren't beating the Celtics. Knicks aren't beating the Cavs.
I ain't saying she ugly. I'm just saying I heard she's got issues working with people because of her attitude.
No, she's a beautiful woman. I just want to know what her big role was. Like, what made her feel as though she's a top dog among, actresses? Because, Friday was back in 1995, guys. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in 1997. She was Will's girlfriend towards the end of the show. She wasn't even there for she was there for a couple seasons. But other than that, Big Mama's house, bro. Well, Martin Lawrence dressed up as an old lady. What are we doing? You are where you are because a lot of men fantasize about
because
you.
Doc was a Knick. He's cursed now for life. That's funny.
Phil Jackson. A lot of Knicks greats, man. And they're headed in the right direction. I just think that right now, with the way the East is measuring up, it's the Celtics, then it's the Cavs under them, and then it's everybody else.
Yeah.
Like whoever, pick your poison.
The Bucks have completely fallen off. That Dame Lillard trade actually hurt them more than it helped them.
Yeah, exposed them a little bit.
The Heat just don't got that extra guy to take them over. They didn't want to pay Jimmy the money, which you can't fault them because Jimmy was only getting older.
Yeah.
Like, why are you going to tie up a max deal into that could actually ruin your team in the long haul?
This is true, but we also see that they're not better without Jimmy Butler.
No, but
they're not better off.
But
Jimmy Butler is better off in Golden State.
Maybe they want to save their money for a younger head. Maybe they
Soul
get
Food.
into
Okay, I remember that one.
Maybe they get into the Giannis. I don't think Giannis is going back next season.
No, Bucks are going to lose him. That's a conversation we've had on this podcast.
Are the Nuggets going to lose Jokic now?
They even fired their GM.
Oof.
They cleaned house. It wasn't just the
really just want to touch.
They fired the GM.
That's what happens when you win a championship, folks. All of a sudden, your front office and owner think they know everything.
We're talking about the 3 or 4 seed out west. There's teams that have real problems. You guys are just firing people a week away from the playoffs. Crazy. I don't. What was my pick? Was it Nuggets, Celtics? Did I run that back? No, my pick this year was the Suns and Celtics. That's not happening. I got maybe half of it right. But yeah, I don't know who's making it out of the West. But right now, the Nuggets, I feel as though they made it a little bit harder for themselves to make it out based on their, recent choices. Because you said, what's the interim coach going to do? Take them to the finals? Win the whole thing? And then what? That doesn't even secure you your job, bro. You look at remember the Raiders head coach the interim head coach a couple years ago, got the Raiders to the postseason, then doesn't even get the shot to bring, John Gruden comes in, right? Is that what they did?
Gruden got fired because of the whole scandal, email scandal.
Gruden, then he came in.
He was there already. He got promoted, took them to the playoffs, got
unceremoniously ousted.
They hired Josh McDaniels, and they turned into a dumpster fire with Josh McDaniels. Then they hired Pierce for 1 year. Pierce, I feel as though got screwed because he really didn't have anybody on the team. Like, what quarterback did he have? Aiden O'Connell?
And then he screws them out of the draft pick, right?
Yeah, screw it. He knows he's getting fired. Who cares?
And that's the crazy thing. At least
you got Pete Carroll.
NFL
and Pete
coaches,
Carroll was able to get Geno Smith for a 3rd-round pick.
At least NFL coaches are able to be spiteful. NBA coaches don't even have the chance to do some spiteful shit like that. They have no type of leverage.
Remember Lovie Smith did, but Lovie Smith actually helped the Texans by winning that game because the Texans were going to pick Bryce Young, and we've seen how that's played out so far.
At least if you're an NFL head coach, you know you're about to get fired. It's week 18, and you say to yourself, screw it. Let's go win this game. I already know I'm about to get fired. You can't fire me twice. I'm going to screw you guys out of your draft position, and then I'm going home. All right? I'm out of here. Have fun drafting 16th overall with a shit team.
I'm taking this championship belt, and I'm walking out, and I'm never coming back.
Washington is a team with problems. Charlotte is the same, but nothing ever changes. And those two basketball teams are going to continue to have problems next year. The Wizards are going to continue to be terrible.
Teams like that, it's ownership.
And Charlotte,
Michael Jordan, is the greatest of all time, but he can't run an NBA team. He can't find talent. I'm sorry.
He just collects a check from that organization.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah. And they got LaMelo Ball, which is a fun guy.
Shot.
And it's great. They got some talent. They got Miles Bridges. They got LaMelo Ball. It's not a lack of talent in Charlotte. It's just a lack of direction for that basketball team. Like, you're so far removed from the playoff picture. It's like you ain't gonna get there next year. That ain't gonna happen. The NBA is not going to get any better next year. No. It's going to be the top tier, and then everybody else just swimming in mediocrity, bumping heads.
It's the only sport who's going to be there at the start and at the finish.
Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. The draft is not going to impact anything for the NBA.
Like baseball, there's always that one team that finds a way to get in there. Football, there's that one team we didn't think could do anything, gets in there.
MJ, greatest player, but worst dresser. It's on the big suits.
Hockey, there's that one team that you didn't think could get there is going to be there. Basketball, yep, those guys are going to be there at the end.
In hockey, the 8 seed can bounce the 1 seed.
Yes.
They can look just as good as the 1 seed. In the NBA, the 8 seed is just fodder for the 1 seed to just get themselves right. It's not like before where the 8 seed can pull a 1994 Denver Nuggets and come up with this crazy upset. Like, that ain't happening these days. You know who should be there. It's just a matter of, can the Boston Celtics close out another championship, and who from the West is going to be able to prevent that, and how far can the Cleveland Cavaliers take the Boston Celtics? Because if the Boston Celtics are hitting those 3-pointers, you know what I mean? Like if everything's going in for Boston, they could end the Cavaliers in 5, realistically.
Right.
But this is the Cavs are the best chance in the East of anybody not named the Celtics as far as representation to get to the finals. It's just a matter of can they go 6 with them? Which I feel like we'd all respect the 6-game Eastern Conference Finals.
I agree with that, Paul. If hockey knew how to market itself, it would be more popular than it is now. Hockey is really fun to watch.
ESPN used to do a good job of it.
Pat McAfee's been trying to get people
ESPN
to watch. He talks about hockey all the time on his podcasts.
Yeah.
All the time. He's trying hard body. But the NHL has to promote too. It's the same thing. It's my problem with baseball. I don't think baseball markets its stars enough.
Well, they're doing better than hockey.
All they do is market Trout, and that's about it. I should see Aaron Judge on my TV screen more. I should see Bryce Harper on my TV screen more. I should see Ohtani on my TV screen more. I don't. It's a problem. But you know what? You always see NFL players on your TV screen. You see Pat Mahomes all the time. You see Josh Allen now. You see Tom Brady for you. They know how to market.
Well, you got to be willing to watch the product too. Is anybody willing to watch it? It's like when people support WNBA. Who's watching WNBA? I'm not. Are you? It's easy to go out there. It's easy to sit there and say you got to support this, you got to support that. Are you actually taking the time to watch this shit? Be real. Be honest.
Baseball is all 50-year-old whites and chill, bro.
Besides,
I'm 8 years away from that.
Besides March Madness, you guys ain't watching. You're watching college basketball. That's different. It's different energy. It's more entertaining. You're not dumping money into the NHL. You're not dumping money into the WNBA. Let's be real here. Where do you think they get those marketing dollars from? They ain't gonna put it out. They ain't gonna put their money into it unless you put your money into it. That's how it works. You know, you got like they know people don't give a shit. So there's why put that money in towards making the effort to make people care, and we can just allocate it into other things. Let's make another stadium. Let's generate revenue, and let's try to fucking sell some popcorn and some sodas and make money off the people who are willing to get off their butts and come here and watch this product. $2 tickets, guys. Bring the whole family. $2 tickets, $1 hot dogs.
Who's doing that? The Rays?
The Rays are making the Yankees money. That's what they're doing right now. They're being a good what's the word? Guest in our backup spring training baseball field. You know, don't get it dirty with any of your crap. Any Devil Rays propaganda that you have, please remove it from the stadium when you're done using it, because it ain't your stadium.
That's
right?
crazy.
It's a rental. All right, so have a little respect.
Talking about stadiums, what about the bomb that the lady for the CEO of the Bengals dropped at the league meetings last week?
What?
Our lease runs up in 2 years. If we want to leave, we can leave.
No more Cincinnati Bengals?
Bro, that's crazy.
This is making it sound like there's somewhere to go, though. You got somewhere in mind? Like, where are you going to move
The
that
St.
team?
Louis Bengals?
St. Louis Bengals. Oh, a nice ring to it. I don't know.
I'm just
That'd be
repeating what I
interesting.
read.
I guess that'd
That's
be
an interesting thing that the lease is running up, and it sounds like if they don't get the right price, they may leave.
So Ohio's just going to
Will
be
the
stuck
NFL
with the
try to
Browns.
keep the Bengals there? I don't know.
It's going to be an interesting storyline 2 years down the road when that lease actually comes up, which is around the time where we should be getting our new stadium. I've already seen some of the
That's crazy. Your stadium's
looks.
only 25 years old, and it's
not even.
it's
Wow.
1 year older than freaking Heinz.
Nobody can even tell me why we're getting a new one. Like, why? What? What is it?
I go to Pittsburgh every year,
Why?
and I look at that stadium, and I'm like, if they ever want to move, where the hell are they moving
I heard
to?
rumors maybe could share a new stadium with the Bears. Who's going to share with the Bears?
The Bengals.
Bengals and the Bears?
Yeah, I've been reading
Chicago
about that.
Bengals? The Palatine Bengals? What do you...
I don't know, bro. It's very interesting.
What?
She dropped that bombshell, and none of those owners were expecting it, supposedly. Like, they were looking around the room like, what?
I mean, it's a...
Because you also need permission to move. I think you need, like 18 to 20 owners to approve your move.
I mean, Chicago's one of the best sports towns, but...
Correct me if I'm wrong out there, whoever's watching, that I know they have to agree as ownership, but I don't know how many... I don't know how many owners it takes, but I do know the owners have to approve it.
And what would make them vote yes to move in that team? You know, what's the incentive for them?
I don't know.
You know,
Maybe to get into a...
like, besides, like, unless they have, their little cliques and, like, you know what I mean, some GMs are tight, some ain't part of the inner circle. I can imagine what Cincinnati's status is among the elites of the GMs in the league, but I mean,
I
don't
still
know.
think it was a bad move to go into LA.
If you're gonna share a stadium in a city with a diehard fan base who's gonna love the Bears no matter how much they suck, and they are not going to love you the same way, but they will they're gonna love you because Chicago loves their teams. Unless you're the White Sox, they love their teams there. It's a great sports town. However, like, the love they have for the Bears compared to the love that they're gonna have for you, it's not gonna feel the same, And once again, another team gets ripped away from the city.
I just think it's a ploy to get the city to to make the taxpayers finance a new stadium. That's what I believe.
Bengals going to be like Cleveland Indians when they had Wild Thing and Pedro Serrano. They might as well move to Jersey. I'll support them. So teams move and they have contractual stipulations that could allow them to move based on things like attendance, but usually it requires a vote and a blessing from the commish.
I just think it's a ploy to get the taxpayers to pay for the stadium.
That'd be weird. The Chicago Bengals.
I never understand that either.
You know what's crazy?
You got teams worth billions of dollars, and they want tax-paying citizens to cover almost 60% of the bill. What?
You got the Sacramento Athletics. They're not the Oakland A's anymore. They are the Sacramento Athletics for now. That's their.
Is that their real name?
That's what. Yeah, Sacramento Athletics.
No, it says it on like.
It still says Oakland Athletics, but right now they're on TV. They're calling them. It's like the Washington football team thing. It's like they're calling them the Sacramento Athletics.
I agree. That's where I draw the line too. Take a loan from the NFL as an organization that is nonprofit. And yeah, like, why do we have to keep footing the bill on these freaking stadiums? I'm not getting a chance to buy season tickets.
Because the fans are marks, and they are going to, no matter what you say, there's going to be a fan out there that's going to be willing to pay the money, just like the fans out in Buffalo that were willing to shovel snow just for their football team to shit the bed and lose. They went out there and shoveled snow, didn't get paid anything for it, and then sat their happy asses down to watch their team choke in the playoffs again. Fans are going to do whatever it takes.
Hawaii Bengals thinking about the fire cleared the area. They can get a team stadium for cheap, and it'd be a hot spot to play. Oof.
Man. Someone got to run the concession stand, etc. No matter what. Just don't move them to California. They don't care about their teams out there.
No, like,
and they have enough.
Like the LA move is terrible. The LA move is terrible. Like, nobody supports the Chargers, Dito. At least San Diego did. They loved them.
They love them out there.
They were going to those games, bro.
Love is a strong word. I don't know how much they cared out there. There's a lot of surfing going on.
They cared a hell of a lot more than Los Angeles does.
Yeah, I mean, you put them in a rough spot, bro. You made them the Jets of LA because you got the Rams out there.
Rob Lowe was wearing a freaking NFL hat. He could even support one of the teams.
Lakers and Dodgers, and then everybody else.
That's all Los Angeles cares about.
Lakers and Dodgers.
Yep.
If you're the Clippers, the Clippers fan base, who's that? Who's a Clippers fan? What's that? Clippers fans are just Lakers fans who are mad at the Lakers. You know what I mean? It's like it's the same as like you're mad at the WWE, so it's like you go hard for whatever other promotion is out there because it's like the WWE did it, or New Japan, whatever the hell it is. You know, your guy didn't get over in this company, so now you push the other company a lot harder, and this company sucks in your eyes. It's no different, bro. It's no different. Yeah. Hey, well, they're partnering with WWE now, so they're chilling.
They should bring back the Aces and Eights storyline.
They're living that ECW life from the 90s where they got an agreement going on with the big dog. And now you got TNA talent coming out and showing up in the Rumble.
Danny Tanner was a Clippers fan, but he was fictional.
And in Full House, he was actually a Golden State fan. There was a couple episodes where I watched that show. So he'd be wearing like the Golden State Warriors tracksuit back when nobody gave a shit about Golden State whatsoever. This is before, they became anything relevant.
I remember a couple episodes of Fresh Prince where they were talking about Clippers tickets.
Yeah. I can imagine how cheap they were at that time.
Then later on in later seasons, it was Los Angeles Lakers tickets.
Yep. I mean, we all know Lakers are the favorite sons. It's just one of those things. No matter what they do, no matter what they got going on, their spot at the top of the food chain. That's funny because
I was watching Saved by the Bell the college years the other day.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon Prime. And Mike Golick's brother, Bob Golick, was on the show. I forgot all about that.
Bob Golick?
Yeah, he was on the show. He was the dorm director. Like, if you got, like, he was Zach's Foy. Like, he was the Mr. Belding.
It's pretty cool going back and looking at, like, some of the cameos.
Let me tell you.
Some of the actors.
The college years was really good. It's just, I don't think they should have put it on prime time. Like, I get you. You're trying to take that show, turn it to prime time, but still do the kid antics. Like, you can't have that. You got to mature it up a little bit if you're going to put it on prime time.
They're trying new things. I wasn't a big Saved by the Bell guy. Wasn't a big Friends guy. I remember them being on TBS Superstation, and when that popped up, it's like, all right, time to change the channel. It's like when the Wonder Years came on.
Y'all can make fun of me all you want, but to remember the era I grew up in, I wanted to be Zach Morris. I'm not going to sit here, lie, or sugarcoat anything. I wanted to be Zach Morris.
Living vicariously through the character. I knew of the characters. I was definitely more of a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I was not an
AC Slater guy.
I was a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air kid. I was a Martin
I used to watch
kid,
Fresh Prince weekly.
Oh yeah, she was a.
I
had some beautiful women.
I watched Martin for like the first season, and after that, I was like, yeah, I'm good.
I liked Martin. That came on later. That was
I used to watch The Simpsons.
More adult themed. Yeah, I was a Simpsons.
Then I got older and I stopped watching, even though I know people who still watch it.
Yeah, I was a Simpsons kid. I grew up on that. I grew up on the Fox channel, basically, you could say. You know, growing up in a.
You know what? I agree because you know what? This is. All right, people, remember, I'm turning 42 next month, so don't make fun of me. You know, living in the projects, you know, TVs were expensive, so I had a 10-inch black and white television that had, you know, the dials right there. You'd have to put like 29, leave it in you. So the clearest channel when I would do that with the antenna was Fox. So I would sit there, and that's where I watched a lot of the shows. Like, I watched a lot of the Fox stuff, and then Fridays I would 6 ABC.
I had the dial.
And I used to have to mess with the antenna, move it a little bit.
I had that. It was. I don't remember how big it actually was, but then it would show the number of the channel on the top right corner, and you're just like moving the dial over. Some of the TVs would just be some of the channels would be absolutely nothing. I believe to hook up the Nintendo, it would be on channel 3.
I think,
for me, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going way back here.
The first color television I got, I was already maybe living in my parents' house by then. My grandfather had passed. Ah, man. 95, 96-ish. That's when I finally got one.
I had a TV in my room at that time, and I also had the living room TV, which is for some reason where I spent that's like the living room TV is where I would sit and like watch wrestling. Like if there was like WCW, I remember just being in that living room in Washington Township and watching WCW Saturday night at 6:05.
Remember the art like that?
And yeah, like not necessarily being a big fan of anybody who was on the show, just remembering guys like Shark, aka Earthquake, some of the guys I remember from the early 90s of WWF being on there. I'm like, all right, let me check this out. Like it was the other brand to me, you know, like
disrespectful asshole.
Oh shit. But yeah, I remember specifically TBS Superstation showing the Braves games, showing WCW, Saved by the Bell, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Just the lineups used to be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, living room TV was when we all got together, and Saturday afternoons watch Renegade, Little Highlander.
Renegade. Brought it back.
And then 6:05, boom, WCW Saturday night.
Yeah.
I remember Friday nights, like at 9 o'clock, we'd watch Hercules.
Remember Hercules?
And if we missed Hercules, they would replay it Saturday, like around 2, 3 o'clock.
I remember Hercules. I remember Xena. They did like a crossover thing with the two of them.
I know, Paul. I'd be forgetting. When we worked at Burger King. Like, you were only a couple years younger than me.
I remember all that shit, dude. I even remember the lesser known shows like The Critic.
Bro,
like
what a great
like
show!
Yeah,
that show doesn't get talked about enough.
It was a funny show.
John Lovitz was amazing. It was crazy how his character looked just like him in
Yeah.
real life.
This was the original Comedy Central. Like, this show would come on. And I think it would come on Fox, too, if I wasn't mistaken.
It
Highlander
originally
had the
started on
best
Channel 6.
theme song. Freaking Queen did it.
Yup. Here we are, Bond.
Gotta share all those old shows. We're in the process right now of growing the Nostalgic Multiverse page the same way we have grown the On the Money Sports fan forum. It took a couple years to do it, but nonetheless, what we've been doing is we've been adding a ton of old school video games on there, wrestling stuff. TV shows has to be the next logical step. So if you have any nostalgic TV show pages that you're a part of on Facebook, do us a favor. Take the time to share some of those great shows onto the Nostalgic Multiverse. And because we can't think of all of them sometimes. Like right now, I just name dropped The Critic. That probably wasn't even on his mind for years and years, but just hearing the name takes you back to that place. Sometimes seeing those images,
was a great show.
It kind of reminds everybody like, oh shit, like this really existed, you know? Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, bro.
In the eyes of the Ranger.
Yeah.
Texas Ranger.
Don't get me started on Walker Texas Ranger was a staple. In the Heat of the Night, you know, Matlock. That's the type of shit where if you stayed home from school, you're watching that shit.
Yeah.
With your grandma. You know, you're putting that. That's what you're watching. You're watching Price is Right, bro.
Yeah. Or when you would stay home from school, you watch Price is Right.
The Tick.
The news would come on, and then I remember ding, 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 ding.
Oh yeah, Young and the Restless. Greatest soap opera of all time. The greatest soap opera of all time, Young and the Restless. You had The Tick, you had Earthworm Jim, you had Freakazoid, the Animaniacs, bro. Come on. WB was the shit. Like WB, as far as the cartoon catalog that they were putting out there, at one point in time, they were on par with the best. You know?
Yeah, I remember when WB created their network, they took all their cartoons off of Fox.
Yep.
And moved them to the WB network. And that's why Fox went hard body with like the live action type shows, the Power Rangers, Big Bad Beetleborgs, all that other bullshit.
Big Bad Beetleborgs. There was the Power Rangers, and there was the ripoffs of all the Power Rangers that came after that.
The live action Ninja Turtle TV show, which was the drizzling shits.
Oh, yeah.
Supermarket Sweep, Murder, She Wrote, and shout out to Nick at Night.
Supermarket Sweep was my shit, too. I love that show. Murder, She Wrote. Nick at Night used to play I Love Lucy on there. You know, they used to have some bangers on there. But like once the Wonder Years came on, it was either time to change the channel or probably time for me to go to bed.
Yeah.
Once the Wonder Years came on, I wasn't trying to I'm sorry.
There were times,
this ain't
bro.
My tempo. This ain't my tempo.
I remember when you had no school the next day after Raw. I remember I would fall asleep. I'd be hyped to stay up for Raw. I'd fall asleep, wake up, Silk Stockings is on. Like, damn it, I missed it.
I'm not hyped to stay up for Raw now. This has been a pretty lackluster road to WrestleMania.
Yeah, compared to last year. Last year's road to WrestleMania was way better.
I'm sure there'll be some pretty cool payoffs. And I'm not saying it's because
of The Rock either. I'm saying like overall storyline wise.
I mean, I haven't watched the last couple of weeks. I've been catching like the highlights, like the main stuff. What's been going on
last week when Gunther beat the shit out of Jimmy.
Yeah, when he killed Jimmy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Street Sharks. That was good shit.
They finally made you care about that feud.
Yeah, they did a good job as far as finally getting you to actually like give a shit about what's going on with that feud because that was.
What about
the crowd is starting to turn on main
El
event
Americano Grande, whatever the hell his name is.
They got the American Luchadors. Which, I don't know who.
Yo, and then you see how they Photoshop them into like pictures with old school luchadors.
I don't know whose idea that is.
That shit is funny. Yo, and they got them built from Gulf of America. Like, that took it right to the top.
What's the payoff with that? Is that a WrestleMania match? Like, what do you guys?
Yeah, him versus Rey Mysterio. And I'm pretty sure they're gonna mask it. And
On the
I
pre-show?
told you, nah, like regular.
It's gonna be on.
He's gonna get
WrestleMania
a
card.
mask, and it's I told you it was Chad Gable this whole time. No, what they need to do is have Americano go over Rey Mysterio.
American Made versus LWO is bad. Yeah, it's the climate of the world right now. It's a little rough. Tiffany Stratton burns Charlotte. I hope she retains though. I have a feeling Charlotte's gonna go over, which sucks. But hopefully, Tiffy Time can get it back. It would be a big deal for Tiffy to get a win
no
over
one
Charlotte.
cares about Charlotte anymore.
She's getting that go away X-Pac heat at this point. The crowd is drowning her out. She was visibly frustrated by that. The fact that, the crowd doesn't give a shit what you have to say. Like you're getting booed out of the building before the mic touches.
It's just like everybody's getting mad about Bianca Belair getting booed. You want to know why she's getting booed? Because, your best friend got attacked by a car and you moved on. Like, you moved on. You're not even chilling with her. You're not even like, what are we doing here? I have to focus on my title reign. That's why I'm like, none of us are buying that it was just Naomi.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come out that she had something to do with it.
If they can kind of add that into that triple threat match, that would be a nice little intriguing twist to make that story.
And do I think Rhea's winning the title again? No.
I hope not, man.
I wouldn't be shocked if Evo keeps the belt.
Charlotte has go away Vicky Guerrero heat. Yeah, X-Pac heat. It's the go away heat. Like you're not generating the type of heat of a heel where it's like they truly genuinely don't want to see you on their TV. You have get off my TV heat. That's what you have.
Which is crazy because when Dom gets booed, it's heat.
Like
that's heat.
You have corporate Kane heat. Like
that gimmick was terrible.
Get off my TV. Like I am done with this.
That was such a terrible gimmick, bro.
It was shits. It was the absolute
like
shits.
They had nothing for them.
And when it comes to this triple threat match, Seth Rollins needs to go over, bro. Hey, CM Punk, you're great. Love you. You're cool. Tribal Chief.
He got the main event.
Tribal Chief, you're great.
I can tell you.
I love you.
Listen.
Seth needs a win, though, bro.
I can tell you who's not taking the pin. Roman Reigns.
Yeah. EO gonna retain. I like the underdog champ story. Yeah.
However,
I find myself cheering for EO Sky too.
If Seth Rollins doesn't win it, they're gonna get stacked. If Roman Reigns wins, he's stacking them bitches and pinning them.
You can't. CM Punk's first main event.
He's gonna be the first.
Getting stacked on top of Seth Rollins and pinned.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna be the first person in history to do it 2 WrestleMania main events. Stack his opponents and pin them.
So basically, we're doing mock draft next week, so I think it's safe to throw some Mania predictions out there now. Since
I also think
what we're doing
Roman's turning full-fledged heel again soon, which is necessary.
I mean, he's a heel still.
Yeah, but he's acting too much of a tweener. Like
he's not a face. He just gets cheered for being a dick. Like people respond to Roman Reigns.
Like when he said at the contract thing, come on, what are you looking for? Come on, grab just page 5, section 6. Let's move it. This is contract sign. Are you new to this, Junior? I was dying.
Wise man, help this guy out. Doesn't help that people can't even recognize Charlotte anymore.
And then for the wise man not to say no to him.
Yeah, she looks totally different. You're coming out. You're trying to dress like Tiffany Stratton, which isn't going to work out for you because she's like
she's had some work done on her face.
You don't even look like the same person. You look like handsome Squidward when he got the work done.
Yeah, that's another thing me and Javi were talking about today. And Alex, come on, everybody owes each other a favor now. Like, what the hell is this?
He owes him a favor because he didn't curb stomp it.
Yeah,
you should have curb stomped his face into the mat.
Alex said it 2 months ago. He said if it's a triple threat match, he thinks Heyman's leaving with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like that. It feels like another Paul Heyman turn on one of his advocates. I could see it. We've seen it throughout history.
I hope not.
Join Seth. What's Seth doing right? Seth needs. Not only does Seth need a win, I think Seth Rollins is great. He needs a win, and he also needs like an advocate. He needs like a stable. He needs like something, The guy's great. Throw him a bone, bro. He already jobbed to CM Punk, right? He lost to CM Punk. He got pulled out of the cage by Roman, so he technically won that one. So now this is the I guess the rubber
Bro.
match, even though Roman is
Bro.
there. But
It doesn't matter who wins, bro. It's all a work.
he's shitting on all of it.
Is he?
Russo's shitting on all of it.
Even
He's
the triple threat?
He's saying the Cena turn doesn't make any sense whatsoever. He's saying, "Where's the Rock?"
I can't listen.
It's
I can't argue with him.
He turned, the Cena heel turn makes no sense whatsoever to him. Doesn't know where the Rock is. Blaming the fans.
I don't think he's wrong in that aspect. I know everybody just thinks it's cool because it's Vince Russo. It's shit on Vince Russo, but I don't see any fault in that logic right there. It made no sense for John Cena to turn, especially if he turned. He was supposed to align himself with the Rock, but then the Rock disappears,
and the Rock is gone.
Yeah,
like what did he just say? Like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
So my whole thing is none of this makes sense, and he's absolutely right. The fans in Europe are marks. Yeah, absolutely. I said it.
You could have just had.
Well, how's it go, Cody? Like that shit was annoying.
Roman Reigns.
That shit out of me.
It happened every week. And like,
it's annoying.
You could have had babies racing in the middle of the ring, and these fans would have just been popping for it like it was the best thing since sliced bread. I get it. They were excited to have wrestling there. They were excited for everybody coming out.
Terrible.
But like realistically though, like what what they're actually giving you these past couple weeks has been horseshit. With the exception of Gunther killing Jimmy in front of his brother.
And the last Cody and Cena promo.
And
these two of them girls, like that last promo they had was really good. I enjoyed it. I like how he said, I create empires for rich people while you steal money from their kids.
He was eating them up. He was eating them up. You knew it was coming.
But Cody also got him back. I thought it was a very even promo. I thought they both got they got their shots in on each other. I thought it was fine.
Cody did okay.
He held his own against them. He did a lot better than what young Roman Reigns did.
Yes. I don't remember what Roman said back to John Cena, but John ate him up.
So destroyed him. It's promo. It's a promo, kid.
If you want to succeed, you got to learn how to do it eventually. Like that was a shot, straight up. Like I know in the back they're watching that, and they're like, "Oh,
was that scripted?"
Oh,
look at that Vince.
Oh, he's killing him out there.
Vince is like this.
I mean, it's crazy now how far Roman's come. Now that dude can talk, like he can talk.
Watch his A&E biography, and he says it like
Randy Orton doesn't have a match. Early prediction: Nick Aldis would be his opponent. That's interesting.
Have you ever seen the Roman Reigns A&E biography? No. He said on there, he goes, they wanted to break the shield up.
Suffering succotash. I'll never forget that promo, bro. I watched that shit. I watched him.
And remember how he looked at the camera like,
"You're a pile of suffering succotash, son."
Bro, that was a Vince McMahon written promo, bro. Vince thought it was that's good shit.
I sat there.
And you know how we know that's a Vince written promo? When Jon Moxley left, Jon Moxley on Jericho's podcast confirmed that he wrote that and thought it was going to go over with the fans.
When he said that, I sat there and I was overcome with cringe as I said to myself, why am I watching this right now? Why do I have this on? Why do I have this on? What am I doing?
I saw that. I was like,
if somebody was to walk in on me watching this and that promo,
bro,
how do I explain myself?
My eyes went like this. I went, what did he just say?
I thought he died. I thought
thought his career was over. I thought his career. I said, no matter what they do, he's done. And like he says in this biography,
this was before the big dog.
He says in the biography, he goes, they broke the shield up. I was adamant against it. I said, it's too soon. He goes, then I said, well, turn me heel. No, we're going to make you the best baby face in the company. He goes, I already knew it was a bad idea. And then he goes, what happened is I'm doing everything that they're telling me to do. I'm trying to be the good soldier because you know what? At that point in my life, I didn't have that FU money to say, I don't got to do this.
You ain't wrong.
He goes, and so then when COVID hit and I left and he goes, I thought in my mind, I'm done. Yeah. He said it just like this. He goes, I made enough money. I was good. He goes, at that point, I made enough. I was good. They called me. So I said, you know what? You want me? we're going to redo my deal, and this is what we're going to do. If not, I'm staying home. And look what happened since. Once he finally got to be able to put his say in his character, look what happened. And he said one of the two things he wanted, to be paired with Heyman, because he knew Heyman was going to take care of him, make sure nobody tried to like stop it from happening. And two, my family needs to start getting pushes.
We saw that. That definitely happened, you know.
So kudos to him, because we all thought he was dead. Back in 2018, we thought it was over for the big dog.
When he said suffering succotash,
how do you come back from that?
That's worse than getting
Remember
eliminated.
I told you? I said this bitch is going to be in AEW.
That's about as bad as being eliminated 3 seconds into your Royal Rumble entrance. Like
I remember, I told you, I was like, he's going to join that new company. You watch.
I thought there was no coming back from that line. You know, was still
Nick
coming
Aldis
out.
is a great wrestler, and I'm surprised he didn't come to wrestle. And he just, I know he was complaining about back pain before he left TNA. Excuse me.
Do you think he ends up going against Orton?
I hope so, because I don't want to see Orton go up against Aleister Black like the rumors talking about too. Because then that means, you know, Orton's going to lose. Orton's going to have to put over a guy who's been gone for 2.5 years.
It sucks he doesn't get to kind of have that redemption story because
it sucks for Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Like, and then you have a fan over there calling him a piece of shit, and I hope you don't come back. Like, the hard cam caught it. And he went up to the fan and said, "That's real nice." Like, yo, that wasn't a storyline, geniuses out there, you freaking marks. That was real life. There's a chance that guy may never wrestle again.
You can't talk to the marks about, you know, behaving themselves. They get too caught up in the shit, you know. But I bet you morons cheered when you saw the Young Bucks show up at that stupid crap that show they had over the weekend, the big reveal. I bet you guys cheered. You love that, right? That was awesome. That was so cool.
Yo, the fans were pissed at that ending. I remember they you know how Tony Khan, you know, I'll give Tony Khan credit where credit's due. He started these press conferences that Triple H does. He started when he started TNA, and the WWE did it with him. However, like one of the journalists said, like, did you not hear the reaction at the end? Like, it sounds like your fans are tired of Moxley as champion. Do you feel like you missed the boat on changing the belt? Not at all. Not at all. Because since he's been the champ, we've had our higher ratings with him as champ and this and that. And I just think the fans just love Swerve, and they were really upset because Swerve didn't win.
Swerve needed to go.
Yeah.
Swerve needed to go.
Like, I'll tell.
That's it.
I'll tell Nick, Chris's cousin Nick, like, dog, the Death Riders gimmick's over. Like, what are we still doing here with this?
All that shit sucks. All right, that's all. Swerve should have gone over. It was just another mistake. Just like putting the belt on Daniel Bryan last year and that shit title run. How that was. I don't like KO. I think he's annoying, so I don't care if he wrestles.
Screw you,
again.
Paul.
If he retires, I wouldn't care. I like it straight up. You know, there's some guys that are on TV that I don't care about either, bro. There's some guys when they're on TV, it's like, all right, time to change the channel, and sometimes I don't change the channel back. Like it just they have that type of, you know, if there's a segment where it's gonna be Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, you know, Punk, Rollins, I'm tuning into that. You know, Cena now, I'm tuning into that. I got to see what he has to say. I want to see him berate the crowd because that's entertaining to me.
You are all horrible people.
He was like, you idiots are proving my point with every breath.
Yeah.
Like, you dress like me. I don't dress like you idiots.
You're not getting new theme music. You don't deserve that.
You know what? He's going over, bro. He's winning the belt. He's beating your beloved boy Cody Rhodes. He's gonna beat him for the belt, and Rhodes will probably get it back when all is said and done. But that's gonna be one of the shock value moments at Mania when John Cena gets his 17th championship at the granddaddy of them all, and he's holding up the belt, mean mugging like he was the night when he first turned heel. Cena's going over, dog. That's the only he can't lose.
There's gonna be a lot of kids
lose,
upset,
bro. Good. Good. I hope they cry. I hope they cry. Tony Storm sucks too. Y'all don't want to hear it. You guys get
I
it.
think
So
she's
corny.
good,
You can't
bro.
convince me otherwise. I'd rather drink. I think you convinced me that her, as far as I don't know what the hell she's talking about when she's cutting her promos. It's very Ultimate Warrior like energy as far as like her actual verbiage. But I also believe that for that company, she's probably one of the best things for AEW. You know, and I don't think too highly of them, but her particularly she's one of the most important things for that company. So it's like, you know, she should be front and center because, you know, she's an attractive woman. The gimmick with the, you know, timeless thing, like, you know, but as far as her promos, who cares? Who cares what any of those guys talk about? You know, Cope, his name is now Cope. We're calling him. He got betrayed. Who cares? Who cares?
It's all for him to get reunited back with Christian.
Who cares? These guys at 60 years old, they're gonna reunite. They're gonna do a concerto. You know where that originated at? The Fed, right? The place where all the AEW fans hate the most. That's where it all, everything that you cheer for, it all came from that place. Yes. She's good for the Mud Show. That is my perspective on it. You know what I mean? Like, what stands out to me from that organization, she's probably one of the like 2 or 3 things that stand out.
What's the scene? That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be Edge and Christian taking on FTR.
Oh,
you watch.
When? What is it?
I don't know.
What is it? All In?
Forbidden Door or whatever. All in Texas. They changed the start time to All In Texas. It's going to start at 3:00 because there's a Saturday night's main event going on that same day. So instead of going up against a free show on NBC, they're just going to move their time a couple hours under, which is a smart business play. Don't try to be stupid and go up against something free.
They do already enough stupid things by keeping the belt on Moxley, having Swerve go out there. I don't know who told him to say F Booker T, but that was just...
He's beefing with Booker because Booker...
That was great.
Because his thing is, he didn't get enough chances to succeed in the WWE. Meanwhile, Booker's like, no, he came out and said not many black wrestlers get a chance to succeed in WWE.
No tag match.
Booker came out and said that's not true. Look at me. And I mean, look at Kofi Kingston, look at Big E, and like that's what he also said. He said, look at Big E and Kofi Kingston. How did they lose their titles again? He said that on the podcast. He goes, what was it, 5 seconds of Brock Lesnar? He goes, oh, he lost it in a 4-way match, the world title, Big E? Like, he was... There's some truth to that, whether people want to admit it or not.
Anybody remember Bobby Lashley's title run? I don't. I know he had the belt, but I don't remember his run.
Because they didn't book him. Yeah. Like, they purposely don't book some of these. Don't get me started.
Booker T, no matter what, is the OG.
Yeah.
Like he's the OG, bro. Think about what he had to go through. Coming from WCW at the time when they were still considered the enemy, like, and going over on WWF television as a WCW guy, like nobody else that came over got that. They made DDP a stalker, bro. They made, Goldberg, besides Goldberg, Diamond Dallas Page was the most over face besides Sting and Goldberg. It was Diamond Dallas Page.
That's why I love Conrad Thompson.
And you made him a stalker.
He goes, you made him a stalker. They knew he was. No, they didn't. It was a dying brand, and we revamped. He goes, what are you talking about, Bruce? He was one of the hottest figures in the world, and you turned him into a stalker.
The only thing that would have been worse is you make Booker T a stalker. It's like, what are you guys doing?
And if you watch DDP on Taker's podcast, he goes, if I knew what I knew now, I wouldn't have done. Like, I would have fought back on that. He goes, but I was just happy to be there, and I thought, hey, I'll listen to them. I'll do what they want, and maybe I'll get a push because that's what I heard always. Do what they want, and you'll. Nah, They buried every single talent that came through.
All of them. All of them.
Booker T.
All of them. Let's be realistic. The fans told Vince what to do with Hogan in 2002 when he came back. The fans decided what was good. They destroyed the NWO in a day because of the fans. Destroyed all
You
that.
don't realize
Whatever was supposed to happen.
Scott Hall was supposed to beat Austin. Hogan was supposed to beat Rock. The NWO was supposed to run wild. Hogan was supposed to get the belt and keep the belt till SummerSlam, where the NWO would finally meet their match. Nope. Nobody wanted to play that game. And you know what? I guarantee you.
Rock and Austin were like, we're going to lose to them.
I guarantee you people would remember 2002 more than what they remember now. Because now you ask somebody, how was 2002? All you can really talk about is WrestleMania 18 and Brock Lesnar beating The Rock.
I remember 2002 was...
Shawn versus Triple H.
Yeah, the cameos. Yeah. 2002...
In 2002, the title changed hands every month or every 3 months.
2002, one of the best SummerSlams ever, in my opinion.
Look,
2002 SummerSlam was great.
Jericho starts as the champ. Then it's Triple H. Then it's Hulk Hogan. Then it's Undertaker. Then it's Rock. Then it's Brock Lesnar. Then it's Big Show. And then it's Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
8 world champions in 1 year.
That was wild.
What?
Wild. Absolutely wild.
That's why now had they done the NWO storyline and just stuck through it, I think they would have made more money. It would have gotten more ratings.
You could have evolved it.
And what's Rock worried about? He left for like 3 months. But you didn't want a job?
At that point in time, bro, they were in Vince's ear. And
Hogan was probably going to job the belt either to Austin or Rock at SummerSlam. One of the two was getting the belt.
Job to Taker again.
Or, a good version of Taker.
I feel like something must have happened to where it ended up being Taker getting the belt. Because you're right, there was a lot of hot potato going on. So it's like something was supposed to happen, and the plans flip-flopped so much. Because when you think about it, all that build for Triple H to come back from the surgery.
To lose the belt 1 month later to Hulk Hogan.
His first big
defense. It's
defense.
not like Hogan had pull at that time.
And then
people forget, Hogan couldn't use his old creative control when he came back. Because at that point, it was Vince's way or the highway.
And then
that was Vince. Vince didn't want that.
The cerebral assassin. You ended careers. You lose the belt, and then you're out there posing right after the match with Hulk Hogan. Thank God he put Shawn Michaels' head through the windshield or whatever happened. You know, because they needed to do something, bro. Triple H Hulk Hogan posing was disgusting. Disgusting. That's like Diesel wishing me a Merry Christmas wearing a Santa hat with the belt on. 7'4" guy saying we wish you a Merry Christmas. I don't want to see that crap on my TV. I don't want to see you doing Hulk Hogan poses. Save that for Hulk Hogan. What are you doing? Who wants to see that?
That's another thing. It's like
your big comeback.
If Kevin Nash never gets hurt, is it the NWO versus Triple H throughout the summer?
Do we get ourselves like a kind of a click type of a reunion where they turn on Hogan and they remove Hogan?
By then Hogan was already gone. Remember, like it was that when Nash and Shawn saw him backstage and they hugged him.
King of the Ring.
They told him if you need help.
Yeah, throw up the sign.
Yup, we'll be right there.
Nash versus Undertaker. I do remember that. But they could have played off of that.
But then the next night, Nash tore his quad and that was that.
Because you could have had Shawn Hulk.
Listen, Paul, in 2002, 2003, Hogan couldn't pull that shit. That's why he would leave.
Vince said to Vince Russo, Vince was like, Vince, I don't give a shit about Hulk Hogan. He isn't drawing me a dime. Like when Hulk Hogan came back, the fans were excited to see him back on WWE television. But in Vince McMahon's eyes, he was just another one of the like top guys. He's still getting the respect of a top, but like you weren't. This wasn't gonna be like 1990, bro. Like you weren't gonna hold the company hostage.
Vince Russo was working secretly for a little bit.
Yeah, because of Stephanie, he couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Stephanie, because of how she.
Vince had him. Vince had him secretly working, and nobody knew about it until finally Russo said, "You need to tell her."
He was trying to bring him all the way back into the fold, like in 2002, 2003. Like
Yes, he
around this time.
was.
And he talks about it. He's like, because Vince McMahon asked him straight up, he's like, what? Because he knew, like, okay, I know about like what happened at Bash at the Beach, right? Like, what's going on with y'all two? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the before I bring you back in? Like, those conversations were happening. Like, it's just like the rumor mill of Hulk Hogan potentially negotiating in 97, 98 to come back to WWF.
Yep,
Ric Flair,
he was coming back.
Like,
and if he signed the deal, he was coming back as a heel.
that would have been crazy.
He was coming back as heel.
That would have been absolutely crazy, dog.
Yeah.
Because Mania 14 might have been Austin Hogan, which, I mean, when you think about it, like, that would have been the perfect time. He was going to come back heel.
It was during that time period after he lost the Sting where he didn't see Miller a little bit. His contract had ended.
Oof. The amount of money he raked from that company is...
But Vince pretty much told him what the schedule's going to be and all that, and he said, Terry, he goes, we're a little far off on this month. Like, it was about money pretty much. He told him, just go back and tell him I offer you this because you really don't want to go on the road like that because I'm going to put you back on the road.
Yeah, you working, buddy.
Yeah.
This is the WWF, bro. Like, you're going to be traveling. You're going to be making them house shows, dog. And WCW, those guys weren't going to house shows. It was the outsiders that were going to house shows. The big
That's why I give Vince Russo with this whole point about this year's Mania buildup is really weak.
It's soft. So never had this much of an abundance of talent. And
I agree.
You're not really giving people a reason to like be excited right now.
I 100% agree with you.
What is there to be excited about right now? What's going on with the Intercontinental title? What's going on with the US title? What's going like what Paul said? We have no tag team matches at Mania. You have 2 separate tag team championships, and you don't have a match booked for those guys. What are those championships worth? Nothing.
The IC title's a 4-way. It's Dom, Finn Balor, Penta, and Braun Breaker, and I'm saying it now.
Dominic Mysterio
is leaving as Intercontinental Champion.
Good for him. I'm all about it. I
truly believe it.
I'm all about it.
Just like I think Jacob Fatu's leaving as the United States Champion. I think he's going to be LA Knight.
Remember when Solo Sikoa was carrying the biggest storyline in the company on his back?
I blame The Rock for that.
What
I blame The Rock for that because I do think the end game was supposed to be revealed that The Rock was behind Solo doing what he did. And when The Rock said, nah, I don't want to do that, the storyline vanished and they had to rethink everything.
We've come to a point in time where we're The Rock has
so at this point, I say put them all back together.
The whole bloodline.
Yep.
Just all of them. Bring them all together.
Get Roman back in there, complete heel.
Bring them all together.
Screw fans.
Fatu, Solo.
Usos.
Tama. Come on, Usos.
This just time, if Jay loses at Mania, you have Jay turn heel and say Yeet's over. Screw that.
Like the Jay turn will be good. Hopefully.
That's where I'm at.
Because the fans are turning on him.
Put the Samoan Dynasty back together.
You have too many stars right now. They got to feature them all to keep them happy. Yeah, I mean, think about it. You got Drew McIntyre versus
Damian Priest.
That might open up Mania. Like 2 big names because they have so many people. Like these guys might open up the show with that match. Like because you don't really like where you gonna go. Like what are you gonna open up with? See, back in my day, you opened up with like a Cruiserweight Championship match or an IC title match. The opening was a banger match between 2 of the best workers, and that's how you kicked off Mania with something like that. You had like a Rey Mysterio versus Matt Hardy type of an opening. You had a Chris Jericho versus William Regal type of an opening. A Bret Hart versus Owen Hart to freaking open up a WrestleMania.
I know the Street Profits are the tag team champions on SmackDown. Is it those Viking guys that are still tag champs overall?
The War Raiders or something? I watched them. I kind of like them. I don't watch them a lot, but I saw
thought the New Day were actually going to win the belts this past week.
Oh, they're done.
They're done. The heel day.
Their shit is done.
That's what they should be called, heel day.
Their biggest moment was the exchange they had with Big E in the ring when they first turned. And what have they done since then? Just in the background and the backstage, just sulking, making snide comments. Look at these 2 jamokes, bro. when they're having those backstage parties, these guys are just in the background.
No,
standing.
Alexa Bliss being back and not being used is wild as hell.
What the hell happened to her? Where is she?
I haven't seen that chick
Where is
since
she?
Elimination Chamber.
Did somebody stretch her out onto a car like they did Jade? Because where is she? She just lost the match. Where is she? She's not hurt. Put her on TV. She's great. We were supposed to get Liv versus Alexa Bliss. What happened? The women's tag team championships mean more than both the men's tag team championships on either show, because Liv Morgan and Raquel are great. They're the new Shawn Michaels and Diesel guys, and they're awesome. They're the ones holding the Judgment Day together.
Until Daddy Dom comes home with the IC title.
Like, what are we doing, bro? Just, and it makes sense what Paul's saying, trying to please everybody. You know what I mean? And trying to get everybody on the biggest show of the year.
Like
that's
that
why
WrestleMania 10 match that never got played, the one with the Men on a Mission, 1, 2, 3 Kid, Bob Holly.
Yeah, because the ladder match, they said, fuck y'all.
Sean and Razor said, the hell with y'all.
Oh, good.
They said when they got to the back, somebody was yelling at them.
Macho Man.
And saying they were being rude and disrespectful to their peers.
Macho Man was amped up about the fact that they, went long. But we got the, arguably greatest ladder match of all time out of it. So, what can you do, right? If they cut it short, you don't get some of the big spots that we got out of that ladder match. You got Bret Hart complaining because they said they stole his idea. Who knows? But at the end of the day, you go back to 1994 and the wrestling that we saw at that time period, there was nothing like that ladder match, bro. It was nothing like that. Even a couple years after that match, WWF was not putting on anything like that. Like, that was a moment in time. To be part of that crowd in Madison Square Garden and to see that shit, this is like what? ECW is like a year in, right? So a lot of people, outside of Philly don't really know about that company in the moment.
They're Eastern Championship Wrestling at that time.
Yeah, they're not even ECW.
They turned Extreme that summer.
94 with the Shane Douglas promo.
That summer they turned Extreme.
Yeah. But for that time period, man, I'll take an extended ladder match over a 5-on-5 with, Horowitz and Sparkplug and all that crap. Don't care.
Bob Sparky Plug Holly.
They keep trying to do the Wyatt 6 BS. Bury that shit. The man behind it is past. Let that gimmick go. I mean, honestly, they
I don't even know what the hell happened. All I know is Karrion Kross's crew beat them. They disappeared, and Karrion Kross's crew got released. And all that's left is Karrion Kross and Scarlett. So, yeah.
Cold-blooded, bro.
The booking behind that, I don't know. Sometimes Hunter's booking makes sense, and then sometimes it's like, dude, what are you doing?
Is what's her name? This chick. This is my house now.
She's a free agent.
She's coming back. Is she really coming back?
The rumor is she is.
Yeah. We're over it now. WWE forgave her for the videotape with her and this guy.
Oh, the
sex tape.
Brad Maddox and Xavier
and
Woods.
Boy. Yeah,
the New Day. They were clapping all right.
We're good,
but they weren't clapping hands.
We're all good, right? Like, we're okay now. Like, she can come back and join the ranks of the Divas.
Using the Divas prop and the belt as a prop and everything in that video. I hate to been whoever won that belt after her. Hope it was clean.
Well, most of the belts don't mean shit anymore at the end of the day. The so-called most important championship in the business is around the waist of Jon Moxley, right? So that just shows you where we're at.
Split piece like a book.
Oh, man, bro. Oh, what a time. But here we go. We're on the road to WrestleMania. We got the 19th and the 20th. To me, I think Cena goes over. I want Seth to go over. I don't know if he is though. I think Roman might go over.
They're getting stacked.
I guess Jay has to go over, right?
At this point,
Jay has to go over. You can't have Gunther win it.
Yeah,
They has to,
everybody
'cause
wants
that's
to
the-
crack on Cody's title reign. What's Gunther done? It's so impressive.
Well, he almost killed the guy on TV, so that was pretty cool. Instead, Cody's the one usually covered in blood, and Gunther's the one issuing the beatdown. Let's not forget, Cody was in the parking lot getting the shit kicked out of him, And next thing you know, he's having vodka, tequila with the let me sit for just laughing at jokes like
he said he almost killed him. Yo, what about that spear Braun Breaker gave Carlito this past
Carlito sold the shit out of that spear. That was crazy. Dominic barely sold it. Carlito took all of it. Because literally, Breaker launched his body at him. Like, when the hard camera, you just see Braun flying. And then Carlito, it was beautiful self. Absolutely beautiful. That was crazy. That was absolutely crazy. Braun Breaker's cool, man. I'm waiting for them to fuck that up too, though.
Mama Rhodes.
Yeah.
Mama Rhodes.
At least out of the two champions, Gunther's the one handing out the beatdowns. He's not the one that's getting beat down. Just laying there covered in blood and not getting your lick back on top of that. And even with Jey Uso, you're cutting a promo on this guy. He almost killed your brother in front of you, and you're just talking to him. You gotta
you got a mother, right?
What are you trying to talk him down like this is an episode of Full House? And you're trying to bring it all together at the end.
You got a mother, right?
What are we doing, bro? Matilda's dad selling used cars. That was funny as hell. Yeah, he flipped and they just stayed face down, bro. It would have been funny if they're breaking down the ring and Carlito's still face down
they make
outside.
The Bobby Boucher jersey?
Just laying there. Like how Roman Reigns
sold
sold
a Bobby Boucher jersey.
How Roman Reigns sold the GTS that he took.
Oh.
He was like, he looked like somebody shot him, bro. The way that he took the GTS. I love shit like that, though.
Well, it's just like last year when Seth pushed Cody out of the way and Roman speared The Rock, and The Rock's just like that. Got his eyes closed. He's like,
he sold it.
Yo, he was like
the
that.
worst thing that ever happened to him.
Yeah.
Bro. The most painful thing.
When I watched him sell that shit, the first thing I thought about is when he wrestled Goldberg at Backlash and Goldberg speared him. He did the same shit, and he was like, ah.
Goldberg, you gonna come out here? You think you want to try to intimidate The Rock? You gonna come out here walking through the sparks?
That shit was
that was
classic.
still great, Rock. This version of The Rock, not so much. I feel like he's coming out drunk, bro, and just
talking.
Yeah, yep. Bro, just.
Too much Terramana.
You are arguably the greatest promo cutter of all time, bro. You're up there, dude. My generation, you're the one.
Cody, are you going to embrace me or not? And then we haven't seen him since. I thought I would get to see him at least once come out with.
We were talking about them adding a third person.
And Travis Scott over there hiding from Cody. Because he knows about to get his shit kicked.
We haven't seen Travis Scott. They were talking about adding a third person to the stable. They were talking about the third person being a woman. Instead, like Cena said, we get nothing, bro. We get nothing. And we are expected to like it and to pay the ticket prices for this WrestleMania.
They're not selling as fast as they should be. I wonder why.
For this 12-hour spectacle that takes all weekend.
I wonder why.
Because people aren't excited about it, bro. This isn't like 2001. The day of WrestleMania, that afternoon, you're about to see Austin versus The Rock. You're about to see TLC 2. You're pumped that whole day, bro, because it's WrestleMania day. You are about to see some shit go down.
WrestleMania 12.
Taker versus Triple H. Taker versus Diesel. I just watched again this morning. The best big man versus big man match of all time. You can't tell me nothing different.
And never forget, Diesel was supposed to go over.
It was great. The first time Undertaker got a real opponent for Mania.
But Diesel put his 90 days notice in, and
he had the job.
They had the job. But the plan was always for Diesel to go over because they were going to have a big time feud. And on top of that, Diesel was supposed to take the belt back from Shawn.
So you would have had Taker and Diesel fighting for the belt.
Yep. That was the plan.
Take my money. Take my money. You know how much better Mania 13 would have been if Scott and Kevin Nash don't leave?
From what I read,
it changes a lot of things, but at the end of the day, like
Vader got that push because Diesel was gone. Supposedly, everything I've been reading lately, like I'm discovering all this stuff that it's supposed to be Shawn versus Diesel at SummerSlam.
Vader did not,
and Diesel was going over.
Vader was supposed to get a push, and we already know who, thwarted that. And he's my boy. I love him. I think he might be the greatest of all time in Shawn Michaels, but he's the reason why we didn't get the Vader push, because I'm a big Vader fan.
Never forget what he told you, fat piece of shit.
Move! Move! Right in the middle of the ring, bro. Clear as day. They can't edit that out. That happened.
I know Vince had to be pissed.
I was like, what the fuck? Bro, this is the championship match, bro. This guy's losing it out there. Prime Shawn Michaels was a crazy character, bro. He found God, and that's great, because on the path he was headed, he was probably not going to be alive right now. That dude was nuts.
Yeah.
You might make more money than me, but you do not have more money than me. Classic HBK line. Directed at Bret Hart. Oh, man. Good old Shawn Michaels, man.
Yeah, those were good proper builds. Hogan versus builds. Andre. Hogan versus builds, Savage.
Bro. It was must-see TV. This is not must-see TV.
Versus Rock.
We're not getting must-see TV. We're not getting Road to WrestleMania moments right now. We're not. We're getting cheap heat in a segment where, they went off script with these two girls. That's what we're getting.
You're right.
And you're getting in trouble for this shit just to make your storyline more compelling. Match is going to be the drizzling shits. Let's be real.
It's because they've already lost the trust of each other, and now they're going to try to make the other one look bad.
Or they start firing live rounds like when Charlotte was in the ring with Nia Jax.
And Nia Jax started
smacking the shit.
Charlotte thought she could get it. Remember, Charlotte was the instigator too in that one. She's the one that hit Jax hard as shit. And Jax was like,
rocked her shit, bro. Rocked her shit. Those were potato, bro.
The referee, you remember how the referee's trying to Nia Jax would have beat her ass.
It's a work. He was trying to save Charlotte's life from what was about to go down. You weren't gonna win that exchange. You weren't gonna throwing live rounds. Nah, bro. That wasn't gonna work out well.
You don't mess with them Samoans, you idiots.
Nah, bro.
They're crazy.
You can't hurt them. When you try to headbutt them and you get hurt, it's not gonna work, bro. It's not gonna work.
I love that.
It's not gonna work, bro. You can't do it.
It doesn't work for the Usos, but when they go headbutt Solo or headbutt Jacob,
yeah,
I love that.
It's great. It's a little thing, but it's so great. You weren't gonna just headbutt Yokozuna, bro. That wasn't gonna work. Rikishi, the head shrinkers. What am I gonna do, bro?
I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man. Bad man.
Bro, we're laughing, but Rikishi's push was better than Vader's push. Rikishi got some main events. Rikishi got to work with Austin. He got the Hell in the Cell main event.
Yeah, he did.
That was a better push.
He took not a choke. I laugh when people, he got choke slammed. No, bitch. He grabbed him by the throat and threw him. Go watch how he takes that bump.
Yeah.
He did not jump. He just threw him.
Bro, you can't throw a 400-pound man off. Come on, guys. Mick Foley almost died in front of all of us. That's not enough.
Wee! Wee!
That's not enough for you guys. You want to see Rikishi?
Remember after the end of his match, he would be he would just sit in the ring going back and forth and pulling his hair out.
When do you remember his debut? That was
Bro, he
different,
took
man.
Undertaker out, dog.
Immediately.
Like,
Day one. I was like, oh, shit. This guy's crazy.
and I think that only happened, too, because of the whole Diesel thing.
I mean, you, two of your top 5 guys go to the competition, you know, at a point when WCW's already
and
got
it sucked
Nitro.
because 96 was starting to feel different.
It was
like,
it was about to get really good. Like, it was about to get really good.
Yeah,
you know?
like the end of from Survivor Series 95 around that time, it started to feel like, yo,
because Diesel's
this
working
is
with
getting
Taker.
better.
You know, you had the thing
Rikishi
where
and Scotty Too Hotty did.
you had the thing where Diesel was in the coffin. You know what I mean? When he opens the coffin,
I
he sees
remember
himself.
that shit was funny as hell.
You know what I mean? You have Diesel breaking the coffin, Undertaker pulling Diesel from under the ring. Like, they were utilizing these two guys in like the core stories. Like, you could have eventually had a Razor Ramon heel turn to go after the belt since Michaels is the champion. So now you got Diesel and
Remember
Razor.
what Nash said on his podcast when he came back out from the ring? He wanted to have like a white strand.
Like a streak, yeah. And they felt that it was too cheesy to do that. But they put a lot of creative effort into that feud, and it paid off in a great match. You know what I mean? Like, and Undertaker
bro,
went
that
over.
casket, look, yo, that dummy looked just
And that
like his ass.
That was the reason why people even gave a shit about the streak in the first place. They started with that match. Nobody was talking about Undertaker being undefeated. Nobody remembers his match with King Kong.
Oh, shit. Speaking of the devil, guess who's at Big Night Out?
Jey Uso just showed up at Big Night Out. Not as many people eating as usual, but there's still some eaters out there. They still believe.
Well, you got a mix of real, like, you got a mix of sports fans.
Yeah. They're just
the ones doing it are actual wrestling fans.
Yeah. The other ones are just like, oh.
What's this?
Sports entertainment.
Who's this?
Sports entertainment crap.
Is he that guy that does the fake stuff?
This is the fake wrestling crap. People get so mad.
I love when people tell me, you know it's
mad.
fake, right? I'm like, yeah, you know TV's fake too, right?
TV shows made you cry before, so shut up. So shut up.
Like, right? I don't want to hear that shit.
TV shows got you emotionally invested. It's the same shit. All right? Relax.
Y'all cats get hyped too whenever you watch Taken, and he goes, I told you I'd find you.
Is the play real? You know? These are the same people. These are the same people, all right, that literally were in the movie theaters and they passed out at the end of Infinity War when Thanos wiped out half of the Avengers. You passed out, bro. They had to get the paramedics to come to Regal Cinema.
Were telling
and you were getting carted out because you couldn't handle the fact that Thanos wiped out your favorite superheroes. And then you want to talk about wrestling. You know wrestling's fake, right? You think the Infinity Wars actually happened? You think they were actually out there fighting? And he took the crystal out of this guy's forehead? You think
I took my parents to go see it and my sister. It was me, Aiden, Bree, Crystal, her mom, my parents, and my sister. And my dad was acting like a mark. I can't believe they ended the movie like this.
Devastated. Absolutely
he was
devastated.
He goes, how are you going to have an ending like that? I was like, because
I cried when Iron Man died.
The next one comes out. Didn't it come out like 6 months later in November?
Yeah.
Because they filmed them both back to back.
They were ready. They were ready to hit you with the because people were ready to see how this like there was no way that you.
I cried when Iron Man died. Chill out.
He made Spider-Man disappear. He had people all sick and devastated.
Mr. Stark. I don't feel so good.
Crying.
Yo, when I seen Parker disappear, I went, "Oh shit!"
I seen Black Panther, and I was like, "Oh!" I was like, "Yo, he did it!" That's what I was saying about. Yo, he did it! He did it! He did it! He said,
I'm looking. Yo, Aiden's like this. Aiden's younger at the time, so he's like,
"Oh yeah." He's
devastated.
The baddest mother effer on the planet.
Crystal's like, "What's happening?" I said, Thanos won.
In the words of Vince Russo, you bought it hook, line, and sinker. You bought it hook, line, and
I was
sinker,
the only happy one out of the bunch. I was like, yo, the bad guys finally won in a movie.
I reacted like when Brock Lesnar beat the Taker and ended the streak. That was my reaction.
Remember how I popped?
I was like, yo, he did it. He did it. He did what he said he was gonna
Bro,
do.
I popped, bro.
He did it.
I was like, yes!
The son of a bitch pulled it off.
Remember, Alex was like,
Yeah.
bro, they really did it.
Yeah. Those definitely mixed reaction to watching the Taker streak. I'm glad that we got to check that one out together. That was Mania 30, right? Wasn't that 31 or 30?
Mania 30.
Daniel Bryan. This is Daniel Bryan's moment.
Yeah, that's just saying one.
A
Daniel
triple
Bryan
threat.
wins the belt plus Undertaker. More people talked about Undertaker losing this streak than Daniel Bryan winning.
Well, Daniel Bryan was the payoff of the fans basically telling the E what they needed to do. You know, because there was what they needed to do compared to what they were going to do, which was at the time, what, Batista Orton?
Yeah. Who wanted to watch that?
Again? Like, come on, man.
Seen that already.
That wasn't going to happen. So, you know, it was the whole fan takeover for Daniel Bryan for him to be able to get his moment in the sun, which, you know, there's an argument to be made that was them trying to rectify their mistakes with CM Punk, because that's fresh off of CM Punk leaving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what do? Next best guy, Daniel Bryan, give that man the push that everybody knows CM Punk deserved.
Let's see what we got.
Give it to Bryan.
Oh, Tyreek Hill being investigated for domestic violence.
Saw that today. That's not good.
Not good.
Not good for a guy that, for some reason or another, in the last couple of years, is not capable of keeping himself out of the headlines for the wrong reasons, and is also not producing on the field. You know, like Tyreek Hill, top 5 option in fantasy last year for a lot of us. Top wide receiver option for a lot of people in fantasy, which it didn't pay off like it did the year before. I'll tell you that. You know, that Dolphins stack was not nearly as effective because Tyreek Hill himself wasn't nearly as effective. And now we're going into the draft.
The Bengals won a first-round pick for Hendrickson.
Bengals won a first-round pick for Hendrickson. Good luck with that, guys. And we're heading into the draft. We're heading into another summer. And, you know, a fantasy season where you're asking yourself the question, like, is it worth it? Is it worth taking the risk on this guy? You know? Am I buying him at a point in time where it's like we're getting past the injuries and he's going to be able to be back to being that productive 40-point-a-week type of player that I need for my fantasy football team? Or has the time come? It happens fast in the NFL. Has the time come for us to just kind of fade Tyreek Hill completely?
Yeah.
You know? Are we at that point in time here? Like, these are the questions that will be answered soon enough. As we are now in the middle of the 8th, it's a 3-3 ball game between the Phillies and the Braves. They're battling it out. Tied ball game, division rivals, and game 2 of that series in the ATL for an Atlanta Braves team that is definitely trying to turn things around.
This is what's going to happen, bro. This is what's going to happen at Mania in 2 weeks.
Well, Edge deserved to be stacked up and beaten like that. Honestly, I'm not mad at them doing that to. I'm sorry, Cope. What is that, bro? What is that? You didn't just want to name yourself Adam? Cope? You kidding me, bro? Like, what are we doing, bro? What are we doing?
Greg the Hammer Valentine got married on Valentine's Day. He got hammered at the wedding breakfast, but it took about 45 minutes to get warmed up. That's a fun trivia fact.
He's a mark.
Did you watch the Paul Orndorff video I shared this morning on the nostalgic haunting?
It means cope with it, damn it. That's why I got beat up by his friends again, just like when Judgment Day turned on him.
That's because they were trying to change the way he envisioned Judgment Day. They wanted to turn him real supernaturally and shit. And he was like, no, not at all.
He already went through that, man.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
they wanted to do like another
darkness.
Yeah, they wanted to do like another type brood thing. He's like, no, that's not what we're doing here. And And then on top of that, this dude got hurt, and they needed a new face. So he was pissed. He was very pissed.
He got so mad that he went to AEW. Is that what they chant?
I
Is that how it
guess.
sounds? This is awesome.
I hate that chant.
This is awesome. What's awesome, bro? What's awesome?
I hate that chant. And
What
the
happened?
You deserve it chant.
He had 8 false finishes. He kicked out of the finisher all 8 times, and this is awesome. That's it. There's no finishers
They're
anymore.
just catering to the indie crowd that loves those high spots.
So then what? Get on the internet and argue about it?
Oh,
That's it. Get on the internet after a shit product was shown. You get on the internet and you spend the best hours of your day defending the garbage. Why are you defending these? These people ain't defending you. They're not even giving you what you want. What are you fighting about?
give me what I want.
What are you fighting for? Okay? You're what?
Hey,
Young Bucks told
You know
you to shove it.
you know what I'm fighting for? To get this damn mock rate next week.
Mock draft next week. It goes down here live. Round 1 of the yearly tradition, the On the Money Sports
Mikey,
Money
Get your ass
mock
over here.
draft. If Mikey can make it and we can have a Freebird Rules podcast for next week, that'll be even better. Have the 3 of us together under one roof for the first time in a couple months. You know? Because I got to hang out with Mikey opening day. I got to hang out with him for the Sandlot Baseball Association draft, but you weren't there. So for the 3 of us to finally be reunited under one roof for the special edition would be a massive deal. Either way, we will both be here next week to break down what we think is going to go down in the first round of the NFL draft 2025. We're going to have trades. We're going to have surprises. And then, of course, we're going to have our sheet, and we are going to see how many O-Money gets right, how many he gets wrong when we
I'll
sit
have my
back and
sheet of
watch the
paper
draft
with me
live.
too when we go to Buffalo Wild Wings the following week.
Yeah, it's going down, man.
Well,
We've been
hopefully I'm
doing it
marking a
every
lot of
year.
checks and not X's.
There was a couple of times where, well, back when we were doing this podcast on Thursday nights, that the draft would be running while we were going live. So we'd be giving the picks out live. You know, now we will be going live on the eve of the draft is my birthday. So Westminster Puppy Bowl.
Yep.
And then maybe, the next day, since we'll be together hanging out, we can go live for a little bit. So for, those in the inner circle who want to come hang out, have a couple brewskis with me and see what our teams do. Chris, if you ain't doing anything that night, draft night, come through to Wild Wings.
There's no mofongo there.
We're chilling. Maybe Drew can come through. If the Sandlot Baseball Association, whoever can make an appearance, because we had a smashing good time last time we all got together.
Maybe we can
So
work out
let's
trades.
try to run it back. And maybe we can work something out, because let's not forget, this draft is going to immediately impact everything that we've got going on in Dynasty. So some job security for some of the players on your Dynasty squad is about to be dramatically impacted by the decisions made on draft night by these professional football organizations. You might think you have the number 1 guy on the roster, but after draft night, you're going to know for sure who's the number 1 and who's going to be out there playing hot potato with the football.
Oh, Marion Hampton.
Is that who's going 102? Nobody can stop you. It doesn't matter. You got the 101 pick and the 102 pick sitting right here doing the podcast. So everything is going to go based off of what we choose to do first. Both with multiple first-round picks. So it should be good. Got a 5 a.m. start time for work. Oof, yeah, I get that.
Fun trivia
Draft don't
fact.
start till 8. So
I took off the next day.
smart man. I'll probably work night shift, but that's fine.
Yep.
I'm good with that.
So next week, mock draft round 1. Hopefully Mike's here. We can feed off each other while he adds his 2 cents in and does his mean gene.
Oh yeah, I'm chilling. It's all you. You got it next week.
Let's see what we got next week. Until then, get your lineups in. Baseball every day.
Baseball every day, baby.
And go make some money on DraftKings.
Shout out to the league.
Big Poppy-ish, you're going down. I can't lose another week.